Hi, my name is David Hogue, and my crisis communication case study is on Rouse's Markets, the boycott crisis that is currently going on right now. I live in New Orleans, Louisiana, and Rouse's has stores in 3 different states. The things we're going to cover are a historical timeline of Rouse's Markets, before the boycott, what happened to cause the boycott, the current problems being experienced, possible solutions, press release statement, recommended solutions, about the charity event, decision reasoning, distribution strategy, goals and tactics, and ethics. The timeline of Rouse's Market. In 1923, J.P. Rouse opens City Produce Company in Thibodaux. In 1954, he dies and his son Anthony and nephew inherit control. In 1960, Anthony and Ciro open a 7,000 square foot grocery store in Houma, Louisiana. This is the first one. A second location opens in 1974 in Thibodaux. And in 1999, Rouse's is named the largest independent grocer in Louisiana. And being a resident from New Orleans, I can tell you that Rouse's is up there with quality of supermarkets. Like, maybe not as good as Whole Foods, but just below that. Now, before January 6th, Rouse's is one of the fastest growing family owned companies in the United States, has more than 7,000 employees across Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and 64 total stores in the US. And in 2020, Rouse's Market celebrated their 60th anniversary. So, how this all started was a photo surfaced of Rouse's co owner and former executive Donald Rouse attending the DC Trump rally on January 6, 2021. Once the photo surfaced, Rouse's received calls to boycott their store and have since been experiencing a major decline in customers every day since the boycott started. What they've done so far is basically Donald Rouse issued a public apology for attending the rally, and he condemns the violence that took place on Capitol Hill and claims he departed the scene before any of the violence ensued. And the crew of Red Beans severs tie with them and returns $20,000 in charity money. Crew of Red Beans is a Mardi Gras float. So basically, Rouse's was paying them $20,000 to put Rouse's name on their Mardi Gras float. The current problems being experienced by Rouse's Market is that the boycott is having a negative effect on business, and I actually live a few blocks away from one, and I went into there twice since this happened. And the first time I talked to the staff, and they said that I was the first person they had that morning, and that they were getting hit really hard by the boycott. And I had no idea at this point. And then I went in there again today, actually, and there were some people, but still only about 20 people in the store. Usually, when I go there before January 6th, there's 100, maybe 50 to 100 in there, at least, I guess. The customers assume Donald Rouse is a Trump supporter, even though he hasn't publicly claimed this. And the negative online reviews continue to be posted by angry customers, lowering Rouse's review rating. Media and members of government are amplifying the situation by saying they are going to round up Trump supporters regardless of where they were during the storming of the Capitol. We are in an era of ideological polarization caused by social media, and people care about the politics behind a business now, not just the product. The possible solutions we've come up with are: we could request temporary review pauses on review sites such as Yelp and Google so that people cannot post any reviews for Rouse's right now. We can conduct a charity event aimed at helping the disgruntled community. We can force co owner Donald Rouse to sell his portion of the company, and we can release a new press statement. Again, it's early in the game, so we are going to take that into consideration when deciding which solution to go with. The new press release statement will build on the already issued public apology, but it will reiterate that Rouse's condemns the violence that took place that day at the Capitol, and will explain that Donald Rouse wasn't near the Capitol when the storming occurred. He actually watched it on TV somewhere else because he left directly after Trump finished his speech. We're going to let him explain why he attended the rally, mention he did wear a mask, explain that Rouse's core values are not in alignment with the violence that occurred that day, and explain the charity event that Rouse's will be putting on to gain the trust of the customers that have been boycotting. The next steps to take are to use the already set up Google Alerts and RSS feed to find and answer all negative comments about Rouse's. During the dialogue interaction, we are going to post link to the press release and notify them of the month-long sale. We're going to also answer any and all questions or comments on Rouse's social media pages. We are going to request unfair negative comments be removed by flagging them on Yelp and Google and any other websites that we can find reviews. And we're going to coordinate the release of the charity event press statement to equally cover all the areas that Rouse's markets are located in. The things that are going to be happening at the charity event is we're going to take that $20,000 that was given back to us from the crew of Red Beans, and we're going to donate it to Loop NOLA. Loop NOLA benefits the children living in New Orleans inner city, like building parks and building recreation centers, stuff like that. We're going to start a weekly community-free crawfish boil every Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. or until the crawfish are all gone. And it will run until the end of crawfish season, which is at the end of May. And we're also going to do a monthly long mega sale, and everyone that shops with us will get 50% off their entire cart, but only for 30 days. So the reason we decided on these solutions that we chose rather than force Donald Rouse to sell his portion of the company is because he did issue a public apology immediately and condemned the storming of the Capitol and even apologized for going, which he may not have had to do, but he did it anyway, just to smooth things over. He didn't break any laws. He never went to the Capitol building where all the violence took place. In his words, he said he just wanted to go see Trump's final speech before the end of his presidency for historical reasons. We believe we can still achieve results without Donald having to sell off his portion because it is a family business and he is the family. The distribution strategy is going to be online and paper, and the local New Orleans news places will be using our Big Easy Magazine, WBRZ News, Mid-City Messenger, NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, and the Advocate. The Times-Picayune and the Advocate are the biggest state newspapers, and Big Easy Magazine, WBRZ News, and Mid-City Messenger are the ones that wrote articles about it, so we are going to release the statement through them as well, since their viewers have already seen the information. And we want to make sure we have every location of our stores covered in the news release. So the Daily Advertiser in Lafayette, Louisiana, KPLC 7 News, Lake Charles, The Advocate, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Al Local News, Mobile, Alabama, and the Clarion Ledger in Jackson, Mississippi. So goal 1 is to reestablish the trust between Rouse's and the public, and the tactic we use to do this is to release the press statement in and around every city that has a Rouse's market. Goal 2 is to restore the number of shoppers per day to pre-boycott daily shoppers number, and the tactic we use for this is to count the number of shoppers per day at each location, then compare to last year's number on the exact day. Goal 3 is to improve daily sales until they match or exceed pre-boycott daily sales. And the tactic we use for that is to compare daily sales to the daily sales from the exact date last year and see how we are doing. As far as ethics go, we want people to understand that people make mistakes, and people at Rouse's are not perfect, and we make mistakes too. But the important thing is, do we admit that we made mistakes, and do we try and fix them? And that's the most important thing. Tell the truth no matter what the consequence. Do thorough research, know what you're talking about. Diligently work to improve and maintain communication skills, because much of the time they just don't understand. Nobody has explained it to them good enough. And how you become a good communicator, able to sway audiences in your favor, is to be a master of communication.